Hello everybody and welcome out to a very special edition of Save Slot 3. I'm your host, Uf Gizmo, joined this week by Massive Das, Chris McGelly.
Hello everyone.
And Pengi, we're here. We're chatting all things 3DS.
Woo!
So it's a Nintendo cast. We haven't done a Nintendo cast in a while. I think this is episode 6 of the Nintendo casts, I think.
Yeah.
We do them very infrequently with absolutely no rhyme or reason.
And there's, I guess, a little bit of reason, because obviously the recent news of Switch Online getting turned off.
And of course, Pengels does mean the 3DS Online. The Switch Online is very much alive. But yes, the 3DS and Wii Onlines have ended. Chris did do a video about the Wii U you can find on the channel. Yeah. But we were going to do a Wii U video, then we realised we actually did this a year ago. So we must have had the same thought at the time. But so we're going to do 3DS today. So
I wonder if that's when they closed the eShop when we did the Wii.
It might be. Yeah, it might be, because I know me and you don't need an excuse to talk about the Wii U.
No.
Because we love the Wii U, but we also love the 3DS, and we don't actually talk about the 3DS a whole lot. I don't know why, but we're gonna go through it now. So we're gonna go through. I've got prompts, so we'll try and keep some form of structure. But again, me and Chris will be me and Chris about it. So we'll start off, Chris.
Yeah, because I was going to start rambling about the Xbox 360, which you might think very well, because obviously the online store closes on that. Is it July? Yeah, I feel it's July.
Yeah, we'll definitely do a 360 video.
That's more of like a reminder, people. With these two gone and 360 going, get your games while you can, I guess.
Get your games physical, innit? But yeah, we'll definitely do a 360 video with Craig, because obviously he has some attachment. We never include Craig in the Nintendo chats because he does not care. So there's no point. He would just be here. Nintendo. He does hate Nintendo, even more than you hate Nintendo.
Yeah,
which you don't actually hate Nintendo. You just at the moment it's your flavour, isn't it? But we could talk about that. But so we're going to start off, Chris, with the beginning of the 3DS and the launch and all that on our purchase experience. Now, did you get a 3DS at launch?
I did, and I didn't have it long.
So I also did, and I also didn't have it long. So tell us the Pengels 3DS launch story, and then I'll tell mine.
I feel I wasn't actually going to get one because I didn't really play the DS that much. So I wasn't going to get one. Then I remember Game had like demo units, and they're showing Street Fighter 4 on it, and I was like, actually, this looks like pretty good and stuff like that. And I must have had the money or whatever. So I remember pre-ordering, and then the launch lineup was pretty grim from what I remember for the 3DS. And that bought it, and literally there was like nothing coming out, so I like sold it. I missed the Ambassador games because obviously I must have. Well, again, I sold it, but I know with the online profiles, but I still had them. But I missed the Ambassador games. But yeah, it was pretty grim because like they had the price drop really quickly, hence why there was the Ambassador games.
Yes, so mine's a somewhat similar story. So I actually did get mine at launch. So I had sold my DS Lite. I don't remember why, but I had. And me and my friend wanted to play Pokemon Black and White, and we had our last student loan. So it was 2011, wasn't it? I think it was early 2011. It was like a weird release time, but so I had my last student loan. So I was like, we'll go to the shop. I think my friend bought a special edition DSi, a Pokemon one, and I was like, screw it, big money Dave, let's just buy the 3DS. It's just come out. So I got my 3DS with Pokemon White and Super Monkey Ball 3D, I think, and an absolute hidden gem that was Ghost Recon Shadow Wars, which is like a tactical Ghost Recon game, more like XCOM. Really great game, really underrated. But yeah, I mean, I got it. I did have the Ambassador program because they took the price down, I think 6 months later. It was like 90 quid less. It was like a huge price drop. That's why they gave us the free games. And I hung on to mine until I think it was Star Fox 64 HD or 3D, sorry, which I played, finished it in about an hour, and then I just sold it because I think I needed the money. But I think I gave it away just before Ocarina of Time 3D came out, which I should have just hung on, really. But
basically, Ocarina of Time, because they had that huge price drop, because again they weren't like selling, so Nintendo had to do something, Ambassador program, and then I think it's the same year, and I think they might have only been like a week apart, or like a month apart. I think it was Ocarina of Time and Mario Kart 7?
Yeah,
Or was it either
it saved
Ocarina
the
or...
console, I think.
Yeah, both of them were like a month. So you had the price top, and then like those two huge games like a week apart, and that got me back in, and I bought the special edition Ocarina of Time 3DS
Yes,
at the
that's the
time. So I got
black with the
and
like
gold.
Zelda writing. Um, so yeah, we'll talk about the launch models as well because there's obviously a lot of models of the 3DS. But yeah, I had the blue one. It came with a charging cradle, which I thought was crazy at the time, which was really funny because they did. I don't think they did that with any of the other ones. I think you could buy one for the XL, but they didn't do it like bundled in. But yeah, that for me that was it for the 3DS until the XL. So what was the 3DS experience like for Pengi with the second 3DS?
Yeah, second 3DS much better because it had had the games and stuff, and then they kept seemingly churning them out more often. The titles on there seemed to pick up, and I think by that point we most probably knew the Vita wasn't going to do anything either. So
Oh no.
I guess if people wanted to make handheld games, they basically had to put them on the 3DS. So it kind of helped. And I expect we would expect. I don't know when the first Pokemon would have been on the 3DS. I remember that
It was
thing.
X
So
and
maybe we had,
Y.
so we might have had the Pokemon that year or something. Which obviously is always good. A
So
Pokemon title.
I think the first Pokemon games on the 3DS
Was it
were
2012? Was that
no,
might have been
because
20...
2012 they had we had Black and White in 2011 slash 2010. Then they had Black and White
Yeah,
2, which was still a DS game that had the sticker
yeah,
on it that says works on 3DS. So it must have been either 2013 or 2014 that Pokemon X and Y came out. I'm gonna say 2013.
sounds about right.
Yeah, because I think it was another reason like I wasn't that fast. 'Cause I was like, well, Pokemon's like my main game on here, right?
Yeah,
And obviously we were, as I've talked about before, we had Wii U's by 2012. So it's one of those where you're like, yeah, no, it's not really great. But yeah, to talk about models, how long did that Zelda one last until you got the XL?
I think I might have got an XL whenever that came out, or just after that launch. I feel I got an XL quite quickly when it did arrive. Because I can't remember what came out at the same time. It was the XL. There would have been a game around the time because Nintendo does that. I was like, oh, I'm gonna play that game anyway. Let's get the new XL
Nice.
system.
The reason, so I didn't get an XL when it came out.
Yeah.
I got back in on the XL though because, and the game I'm sure we'll talk about the most later on, was Fire Emblem Awakening. Because they did a blue one with the Fire Emblem logo on the top.
Yeah,
It was exactly
yeah.
the same as the blue XL, but it had a Fire Emblem logo. And I absolutely adored the 3DS XL. The XL was a beautiful upgrade. Like, it was much more comfortable. The screen being bigger was just fantastic, and it was just a better built thing, really. And I think it's probably my favourite model, the 3DS XL, and I just played it the most. But yeah, for me it was Fire Emblem Awakening that got me back in, and that was really quickly followed by Pokemon X and Y, and then it was steamrolling. Really, it was just good content. And like we said, like we were both really big into the Vita, but the Vita was kind of the indie game thing at that point. Once you got through the first couple of years, and obviously Nintendo keep putting games out, Pengi.
Yeah, plus obviously with the what do you call it? The Wii U not doing great. They basically put all their good games, Well, obviously there was great games on the Wii U, but you know what I'm saying. That was the money maker, the 3DS.
Yeah,
So,
I think for a Nintendo fan at the time, like I think if you were a Nintendo fan, you ate well because you had both. Like obviously now the Switch is the combination of the two, and I think sometimes that's good and sometimes that's not. Like it's a whole discussion for another day, but I think at that time, if you were into Nintendo, you had both, so I don't think you missed it. Like for me, I always felt like the big experience came to console, and then I'd play. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out. Like Mario 3D World, I'd play. Great, love that. But then I'd immediately go back to the 3DS to play a Fire Emblem game, a Kirby game, Pool Blocks and stuff like that. Professor Layton was really big. Ace Attorney was really big. But yeah, it had a good synergy, and obviously Nintendo was a lot of fun at that time. So like at the minute, I've got Nintendo. Like I said, I've got Nintendo Direct showing here just for footage, and it was a very fun time to be a Nintendo fan because they were so desperate for you to buy stuff that they were very open. So like all these, you'd have these directs constantly, and they'd be just like telling you a lot of stuff. It's weird as that sounds, whereas now it's like, here's a trailer for a game, like here's a trailer for 6 farming games and a really old port, like third party port. Whereas back then, like, no one wanted to make games for them, so it was just like, oh hey, here's this random Year of Luigi, and here's this and here's that, and it was a fun time. But yeah, I suppose we can talk about our favorite games for the 3DS, Chris. What are some of your favorite games?
So, well, you wanted to talk 3DS models. Obviously, we had the new 3DS as well, and the 2DS, and the new 2DS. But obviously, the new 3DS was the big one. This is the thing, like the 3DS, I've had like tons of them because obviously I have my launch one, which I sold. Then I bought my Zelda Special Edition, which then obviously I upgrade that to an XL. Then I can't remember what special. I'm sure I got a special Zelda Special Edition. It must have been Link Between
Worlds was the one with the Triforce, and the bottom was black and the top was gold.
Yeah, I think I must have got that special edition. Weirdly, there was a new 3DS XL Hyrule edition. I can't ever remember that one. Like, I got the Majora's Mask one.
Yeah, there was a Hyrule Shield one, but I think that was a 2DS, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the 2DS, which is only in the States. But I don't know if the Hyrule one came out for Hyrule Warriors, but I've never seen that one before, weirdly, and it's quite spenny as well. Yeah, so this is why I've had a lot, because Nintendo, again, they do limited editions now, but it's like the Switch doesn't quite seem the thing because it's always docked and stuff. Like the 3DS was like you carried it around, you had the cool colours, and
there was one for everything, wasn't there? Like some of my favorites, they did lots of Pokemon ones. They did the Super Smash Bros. For 3DS ones were beautiful, the blue one and the red one. I didn't actually buy that game on 3DS, but I really like those editions. There was lots of Animal Crossing editions.
Yeah.
There was a Yoshi one I really liked. There was a Samus one. It's like, if I had any money, you could collect 3DS models for just special editions and have 20 different ones. And they were really, really interesting. Especially the XL, I think, was probably their peak.
Yeah.
Did you have every model, or did you not have the 2DS?
No, I had a 2DS.
You had a 2DS.
So I had the Pokemon ones.
Yeah, they did
it for red, blue, and yellow.
The anniversary ones, didn't they?
Yeah,
they're worth a lot of money now if you still have them.
Yeah, no, I don't have.
No.
Yeah, I had I want to say I had the Pokemon Yellow one, but I can't have the yellow. I'm not sure. Yeah, but I did. The only one I've not had is a new 2DS XL. It's the only model I've not had, and I would quite like the Zelda one of that, but again, it's North American only.
Yeah, I was hoping that was going to get cheap, but it never did.
They did the Minecraft one, I believe, sort of thing. But yeah, weirdly, if my 3DS was like to pack up or break it, I would most probably buy a new 2DS XL to replace it, or like try to find a special edition. But that would be the one I would think I would go for now, sort of thing. Yeah, but I've weirdly had all the models, lots of special editions, and yeah. But the new 3DS was pretty good, and you know, it wasn't the first of like the Pro consoles, because technically the Game Boy Color was that how Nintendo class it. But yeah, it was like a Pro console before, you know, Pro consoles is a thing.
Yeah, I think for me so I only had the 3DS, the launch one.
Yeah.
I had the 3DS XL, and then I got a new 3DS, the small one, because I had an Ambassador console. So I had an Ambassador certificate anyway for my 3DS, and I had the Ambassador console that came with. If you remember, they did like a early access launch.
Yeah,
and
I
had
got
the Japanese kanji like plates. So that was the ones I had. I always wanted the there's a Pokeball 2DS XL that I'd love to get. I'd love to get the Pokeball one, but they're really expensive. And they've got more expensive. They're really popular at the moment.
Yeah. They have started going back up in price.
Do you think the nostalgia's finally coming in? Because obviously they launched in 2011, so we're at that point now where that's 13 years ago. So people that were kids in 2011 are now going, you know what, I want to relive my childhood, and the 3DS has a lot of great games.
Oh, I was talking in a Discord and stuff like what's retro and black, that sort. Because I think I meant talking about PS3 games, and I'm like, that's not retro, even though it's like 2 gens again. Go and stuff like that. But Nintendo did like, it's for the latest Pokemon Day, did like a retrospective like trailer video, and they used Pokemon X and Y, and they like showed a little kid like on the bus, and next minute it's like this little kid is now grown up going to
Yeah.
work or something, and it's like I yeah, it's one of the things. It's like, oh, Nintendo are even saying like X and Y is really old. So yeah,
Yeah, it's a funny one now because obviously, like, so the 3DS was one of the consoles that we had and were using when we started doing the podcast, when we started working together.
Yeah.
Which was, and we were still only in our mid-20s at that point as well. Like,
Yeah.
the 3DS came out when I was 21, and you were 21 because we're the same age. But like,
Mm.
you know, we're 34-year-old men now. Like, it's retro. Let's be brutally honest here. It's retro. But yeah, so that's the models. Let's talk about some games. So obviously we've talked about. I know we both absolutely adore Fire Emblem Awakening.
Yeah, it is my favorite 3DS game.
I think it's probably my favorite 3DS game. It's that or Pokemon X. But I think if you made the HD remaster, you know, we always talk about this when we do these episodes. Like, if you put it in front of you now, would you play it? And I think I would love to replay Fire Emblem Awakening on the Switch. I'd love to. Like, just make it HD. I'd buy it straight up today, and lose myself. But yeah, what about Fire Emblem Awakening made it so special? And were you really into the series before, or was it kind of the one that kickstarted that love?
Yeah, I never replayed the series before. I knew of it through Smash Bros. And obviously the characters in Smash Bros. And I think that's most people in the West. And so I think like this game had to save the series, and obviously it very much did. Mainly I picked it up because it was like well regarded from reviews RPG, and I've always mainly been like a handheld RPG gamer. It's like if you've listened to like the main podcast, you must have like my Portal and stuff, like things like Sea of Stars, and I just got Evelyn Chronicles, 100 Heroes Come, and Persona 3 Reload. It's like, oh, I'm going to play them on my Portal because they feel like handheld games. So, like an RPG like this, oh, it's reviewed well. So I'm going to play a handheld RPG, and then obviously it's just great.
Yeah, I think for me it kick-started the series. Like, I'd played a bit of Shadow Dragon on the DS. Again, mainly from Smash Bros. Like, I saw Marth on the front. I was like, oh, I got to try that, and it was okay, but it was brutally difficult. The DS game compared, and then I got Awakening because much like you, for me, handhelds are the RPG machines. So if you look at any time a handheld of anything has ever been like successful for me in terms of playing games, it's RPGs. So like even the Switch, all of my most played games on the Switch are RPGs.
Oh yeah, I going back obviously this the podcast for G-Namer and stuff like that, and updating like our year of the Switch, like top 10s, and it's like my top 30 is it's like, oh, I buy this console for Nintendo exclusives, and then like 18 of my top 30 are like RPGs. Okay, they're like Xenoblade and Pokemon, which are Nintendo exclusives, but it's like yeah, and like this I like RPGs on handheld.
Right, but let's think about when we started this show, because originally obviously this show began as a PlayStation podcast for the for GNAME when we were writing reviews and stuff. Like it was all RPGs. Like the Vita was the RPG machine for us at the time. It was like between the two consoles, you had the Vita for like the serious RPGs, like the Personas and stuff like that, and then you'd have Fire Emblem, Pokemon, Bravely Default, and stuff like that. That you'd be like, okay, like the Square Enix stuff, right? Basically, and you'd be like, hey, we're playing on our 3DS. So the Fire Emblem, to keep talking about the Fire Emblem series, obviously it was followed by the Fates games, which I thought were okay, and I know you like quite a lot. And then obviously for me, one of my absolute favourite games and one of the most underrated games on the console, which is Echo Shadows of Valentia, which is an unreal game and is only just not as good as Awakening. I think Shadows of Valentia is like such an underrated game. Like I think it was the Switch out when that game came out. Like it was close, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like just before.
Yeah. That's I do own that game, and I'm on Act 3. I've got something, I got it written down. I was looking at what 3DS like games I own, so I'm not sure how many acts. I expect there's like 20 acts in that game though, so not that. Yeah, I feel that's why I missed it. Same with Metroid Prime Samus Returns. Yeah, like the Switch was 100% out then, so definitely I miss that sort of thing. There's a few late 3DS games like that missed because of the
Ever
Switch.
Oasis is another one I wish I'd got to. I think if they'd done a Switch port, would have played that because that looked like a really fun mashup of an RPG, a JRPG, and then like Monster Hunter and stuff, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, I've got a little list here of games that I played, and I think I looked at this and I was like, you know what? Actually, the library's massive, and I haven't played a huge amount. It's just mostly RPG. So I've got Bravely Default, incredible game. The first one's an incredible game. I never played Bravely Second because I think as well that was quite late. New Super Mario Bros. 2. It's unpopular but really fun game. Probably the most fun new Super Mario Bros. Game. The whole coin collecting thing is really good. Kirby Planet Robobot, the best Kirby game. The best 2D Kirby game. It's an incredible game. Pokemon, obviously, I know you're quite a big Pokemon guy, right?
Yeah.
Because we had X and Y, we had Sun and Moon.
Yeah, I've got my top.
And
Ultra. I've got my top 10 3DS games off in front of me, and I got 3 Pokemon games in the top 10.
Tell me your top 10 then, Pengi. We'll see if they cross over.
Number 10 is Mario Kart 7.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It sounds kind of low, and then I've got Mario Kart 8 low on both on my Wii U and Switch like this. Even though that's a weird game because obviously it's on both consoles, and if you combine all of it. But yeah, it's a racing game. I don't know why I've got apart from Forza Horizon.
I think you just expect it to be good, and it is good.
Yeah,
I think that's the thing with Mario Kart.
Yeah, then it's Pokemon Omega Ruby.
See, I didn't like those remakes, but I've got no nostalgia for Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah, I never played Ruby and Sapphire back in the day, and I really don't.
I didn't enjoy it.
That's why Diamond and Pearl remakes was so bad when you had these two. And
that's fair.
Then it's Pokemon Sun.
Okay.
Then Pokemon X.
Yeah, I think for me X is the highest, definitely.
Then it's Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Yeah.
Then Fire Emblem Fates, which gets funny because obviously it's one game, but
you can include it as the trilogy because I think that's how they meant it to be played.
Yeah, that's right. Then it's Super Mario 3D Land.
Yeah, which is a great game.
Then Kid Icarus Uprising, which I think is a really underrated game as well.
There's not a game on the console that needs a port more.
And everyone moans about the controls, but I found there was no problem with the controls. I don't know what you're all on about.
Yeah.
You just use the stylus on the screen. I don't really get the problem.
Yeah, I think you just need give me a twin stick version of that game. I don't know why they haven't done it, to be honest with you. I feel like that's one that could come this year. You can look back and see if there's a prediction. That seems like quite a sensible, quick port. Just make it HD with 2 sticks. I feel like everyone would go crazy for that. But yeah, really underrated game.
Yeah, then number 2 is Ocarina of Time 3D.
Yeah.
And then Fire Emblem Awakening.
Nice. I haven't got my 10, but I know my favorites.
And I have finished, obviously I got Fates here at number 5. I have finished all 3 Fates as well. So, yeah.
You definitely need to get on Shadows of Valentia, for sure.
Yeah.
That's actually
It's weird. I think I finished 9 Fire Emblem games, but 2 of them are Warriors games.
God, didn't play Warriors. Obviously, they did do new 3DS games. We'll talk about them in a second. But the Ocarina of Time 3D leads me nicely into the kind of weird N64 ports. We got Ocarina of Time 3D, which I really liked and is the best version of the game, I think, to be honest with you. And I wish they would just up-res that. Majora's Mask 3D, which I love, is probably my favorite Zelda game on handheld. Is one of my favorite Zelda games of all time. I know they made some changes that people don't like, but the rest of the changes make that game so much better. And having the double speed, double time stuff, and just the graphics are just so much better. Just the way you handle side quests is so good in that game. And I absolutely adore Majora's Mask. Obviously, I've talked about Star Fox 3D. Fine, but I think Star Fox just isn't that good. I think it's just such an arcade game, isn't it? It's all right.
Panzer Dragoon's better as well.
Yeah, it really is. I think there's lots of games better than it, to be honest. But one thing we did get was a new Zelda game, and that was A Link Between Worlds, which you briefly mentioned earlier. What did you think of that game?
I only played the first half of it. It's
really
this is really weird. So I think it's my starting point with Nintendo. But, I know I had a Game Boy and stuff like that as a kid and played Pokemon Red, Blue, and all that stuff like that. But as the GameCube, I got into, and obviously Wind Waker was my first Zelda. Did play Ocarina of Time because it came with Wind Waker as well and stuff like that. So that's the first time I played and finished that. It was also on GameCube. So obviously they were 3D Zeldas, so I've sort of grown up with 3D Zeldas and never really been that keen on the 2D ones. Love Minish Cap. I think Minish Cap is brilliant. But that was during that era of GameCube GBA, and it was like that Link. That's the thing. It's like I know it's not the same Link because that's Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass. But you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, oh, that's my Link, sort of thing. So I love Minish Cap. I've never been a 2D Zelda guy, but now, weirdly, I would much sooner have a 2D Zelda than a 3D Zelda after Link's Awakening remake on the Switch and Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom not liking. I'm sooner have a 2D Zelda because there's more likely to be dungeons, blah blah blah, and traditional. So Link Between Worlds came out now, like a HD remaster or something like that. I think I would love it.
Yeah, it's funny. Actually, this is a real side thing. The exact 3DS model I was talking about has just appeared on the video I'm playing, which is really funny. But yeah, it's funny actually. I don't know why you don't just go back and give A Link Between Worlds a playthrough now, because I think you'd genuinely really like it. It was beginning the sort of open structure of everything by having you be able to go and basically do the dungeons in any order you want because you rented/bought the items, which was quite interesting. But I think it's a really incredible game. Definitely my favorite top-down game. I like Link's Awakening, but it's much more obtuse. So like it's like it doesn't really tell you what to do sometimes. It's still like feels like a Game Boy game. Whereas A Link Between Worlds is like really, really, really modern and really fun. And I really wish they could, like you said, I wish they would do the two types, because I like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but there's more Zelda can be had. Like we've got 2D and 3D Mario. There's no reason why we can't have 2D and 3D Zelda, right? So like, I don't like Odyssey as much as I like Galaxy, for example. But if that's the way they're going with that, that's great. But at least we're still getting Wonder, which was like which was a still kind of true to thing, but like new, if that makes sense. Like they can do. I think they will. But
I keep putting my hope on, because Grezzo haven't done anything for ages, and they did Link's Awakening. Like they're doing Oracle remake, and like I don't know, combining the two games as something into one.
Yeah.
Because Grezzo have to be doing something, and they normally just do Zelda remakes. You know, they did Ocarina, they did the Majora's, they did Link Between, Link's Awakening. So
it's obviously for another show, but I could see the Ocarina game either being a Switch 2 launch title or something to tide us over until the Switch 2. I could see them putting something like that, or Wind Waker, or something will come to the Switch.
Yeah, they
year,
like having a Zelda game every day. Yeah,
they have nothing announced. I mean, obviously this isn't the show for that, but like they have nothing announced. So, like they'll do something. I feel like we're gonna get more Zelda. But to get back on the 3DS hype, what have we got on my list here that you didn't talk about? Mario and Luigi. So obviously I feel like the only person in the entire world that's played this series. I really do. But there's a lot of games on the 3DS. They had obviously Dream Team and Paper Jam, which were the new games, and they did ports of Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story. Really great games when Paper Mario was at its worst. So obviously we had Sticker Star, which was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I bought that game and the guide for it.
Nice.
And I think I still have the guide somewhere, but yeah, I was like, oh yeah, Paper Mario, and I was like, oh my god, this is wank. But Mario and Luigi wasn't wank. It was really good. Obviously Dream Team was the one with Luigi being asleep and you go into like his dream world and he's like a caricature, and it's really funny. Paper Jam is like a hybrid Paper Mario and sort of crossover game, and then they did the two remakes, which are really good, apart from the bonus content, which is terrible, but the actual remakes are good. But yeah, really fantastic turn-based RPGs that I just don't know why people don't like as much as they do, because they're really, really good. There's not really any. They're just as good as over half of the Paper Mario games, you know. And you'd like them. I don't think you played any of them at any point.
Never played a single one.
Which is wild. I think you'd really, really enjoy them. Like if you get an opportunity to pick up, say, Bowser's Inside Story or Superstar Saga on the 3DS, really, really good games. Like
interesting. I'm just looking at my list of my backlog, or which one, if I own any of them. I don't.
Superstar Saga's on NSO.
Right.
The GBA version, which is just as good. But yeah, they're definitely games that are worth playing. I think they're quite cheap, to be honest. But yeah, they're picks. And obviously for the new 3DS, I believe you have my copy of this now, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, which I actually did finish. It's the first time I finished that game.
Nice.
It was on new 3DS. And how they managed to get that game to run, I don't know. I really don't. But yeah, an incredible game.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
the new 3DS like exclusives, like we got. I own all the complete physical collection, which is 2 games in Europe, which is Fire Emblem Warriors and Xenoblade Chronicles 3D.
is
That's it.
Minecraft not a new 3DS game?
It is, but never got released in Europe
Did it not?
in physical. Nope,
My God,
it's America only.
that seems like a weird thing to do.
Hmm.
And obviously, it's region locked, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're
Hence,
right.
what I was weirdly saying about that the new TDS Zelda one. It's like, they only did that in America, with the consoles being region locked as well. I was like, ooh, I could get myself an American 2DS, but yeah, I'm playing Minecraft on it.
God, imagine that being the only reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just have a quick look. There's lots of weirds. Obviously, we didn't play Super Smash Bros. Because we bought it on Wii U. Hey Pikmin, I did play. That was okay. It's a really weird game.
Yeah,
But it's
I
still
own
quite
that.
a fun.
This is the thing.
It's quite a
Like
fun
I've
game.
picked up. Yeah, see, like I've got my like backlog of like digital and physical. Like I've picked up more 3DS in like I want to say the last sort of 12 months or so, because obviously the eShop closing and obviously now the online shut, and I could foresee like 3DS stuff going up. The consoles have, the games haven't as much. Yeah, but like I've picked up stuff like Ever Rose's Fantasy Life, Hey Pikmin, Kirby Planet Robo bot to possibly play at some time and before they become super duper expensive and you never have the chance to play them, that sort of thing.
Now, I suppose that's a really good way to transition into one of our final topics, which is the backlog.
Yeah.
What kind of franchises have you got? So obviously, I haven't played any Yokai Watch games. I haven't played all of the Layton games on there. I haven't played all of the Ace Attorney games that are on there. Like, there's a huge. I think if I still had a 3DS, I think there's probably 20, 30 games I could play that I could look at and be like, they might make like a top 10 list when I'm done with them, because there's just so many games on the console.
Yeah, and like we've like obviously talking, you mentioned like the Bravely Default games and like Square Enix, but like I really love the Theater Rhythm games on
Yeah.
there, and like I own like Final Fantasy Explorers, which I picked up quite cheap, but I think that game would be kind of pointless now because I think it's a Monster Hunter clone, and obviously with no online, it might not be great playing that by yourself. And Monster Hunter was great on there. Well, I say great on 3DS. I never really got into it to Rise sort thing. But I know that was huge on the 3DS. Monster Hunter, for instance.
Yeah, I mean, for me, because obviously 3 Ultimate was cross-play progression or whatever with Wii U, so I just played the Wii U version. But I know loads of people that got into 4 Ultimate, and I think Generations was in Japan, I think.
Yeah, I know. From the Monster Mash lads, I think I've asked them what was the best one, they would say 4 Ultimate. I think that was the best Monster Hunter in general. Was just Rise was the one that really well clicked with me a bit. Like my playtime's higher than you would think on there. It was still not high. It was only like 10 hours for this.
Yeah.
But compared to Rise, I don't know why. I think it was that whole weird, actually the hybrid thing of the Switch. Sort of thing, like I could just play a bit on handheld, do a commission and stuff, but having like when you really wanted to get into the title, like world, like I wanted to play it on the TV, which obviously 3DS didn't have.
No, I suppose the biggest thing for the 3DS is the fact that they didn't put 4 on Wii U. Like, I think if they'd continued that, I think I personally would have played them more. I did play 3 a lot on Wii U. And I have my backlog includes Generations, whatever, Ultimate Edition on Switch and Rise Sunbreak. I have both. So I want to get to them at some point. Maybe I never will, but at some point I will. But yeah, those type of games did really well. And they had a lot of random games. So they had like Castlevania, Shadows,
yeah, that's another
whatever.
one. That's another one I picked up recently.
It's supposed to be quite a decent-ish game.
Yeah, because that's from Mercury Stream, who did Samus Returns, which is one I really want to play.
Also
and then they did
Epic Mickey. The
2D 3DS one.
Yeah, which is actually quite good. It's a 2D game, so that's it's really short, but it's like Castle of Illusion. I think it's like based on that kind
nice.
But yeah, if you get a chance, that one's really good. I think it's called Power Revolution. I think it's that close, but it's about a 3-hour game, if that. But that's really good. What else did they do on 3DS? I feel like I played fucking loads of games on 3DS. but all of them right now are a blank in my mind. I'm just thinking
Yeah,
about
that's the
playing
thing. Like,
FIFA on it. No, joking.
yeah, and like I'm pretty sure I played Kirby's Deluxe,
Yeah,
and
I played Triple Deluxe, which is good.
I miss
Yeah.
Planet Robobot. That must have been the
Oh.
late one. I think anything
Um,
that was most probably 2017 and beyond, I most probably
I
missed.
think Planet Robot was 2015 or 2016, but I think the reason you may have missed it is it was very deep into Vita territory at this point. So
Right.
like some of the games, like I played Revelations on 3DS, Resident Evil,
Yeah.
and then that came to everything else, and then also I didn't play Federation Force, or Triforce Heroes, which were two of the later ones.
Mm.
Again, good or bad, you can decide amongst yourselves really. But I did play a lot of Pool Blocks, if you remember Pool Blocks, which
Mm.
was a great downloadable game. I didn't play much Virtual Console on the
Nah, I
3DS. I played
didn't
the
play.
Ambassador ones that I had, but really other than that, it was just the Pokemon games. I just played all of
Yeah,
the Pokemon games
I don't know why.
and
I
some
just
Game
weren't
Gear
really.
games.
I wasn't really bothered about the virtual console on the 3DS, which is weird. But apart from the Pokemon games,
Yeah,
that was about it, and sort of thing.
yeah, and like you said,
For sure.
it was a prelude to the Switch, wasn't it? Like
Mm.
that's what they combined the two.
Yeah,
But yeah, the 3DS. It's one of those.
there
So
was.
like, go on, Pengi.
I was gonna say the eShop though when it was closing. I can't. Was it Atlas or NIS? There was like look, a few sales. Our sales in Europe and the States were pitiful compared to Japan's. Like I remember seeing someone on Twitter and like the sales in Japan when the eShops was closing, and they literally had everything down to like 100 yen, and you name it, that game was on sale apart from Nintendo's first party. But I picked up quite a lot of games in the sale, and I got like five. Like no, I got like Shin Megami Tensei 4, Shin Megami Tensei Devil
God,
Summoner,
you just
Devil
said
Survivor
that as
2.
that arrived on screen, Pengi. There's no way you could have planned that.
Yeah, and I bought Stellar Glow and like Room Factory 4 and stuff
But
like, and then there was the Liberation Maiden games, which was part of some collection. I've got like that and Crimson Shroud and the Arrow Pointer games, and like hardly any of these cost really that much. And I know like SMT4, I think that's like £100 game now, physical, and
yeah,
maybe even more
they
than
did
that.
two versions of it. They did
Yeah,
Armageddon.
they did the enhanced version,
Yeah,
Apocalypse. Or I
Apocalypse.
think it
There it
actually might
is.
be. I think it actually might even be an actual sequel. It might be
Yeah,
4 too.
it's wild because obviously I didn't play Persona Q1 or 2.
Mm.
They're the two that I'm like, I wish I'd pre-ordered those games because they could be silly expensive now.
Both of mine are sealed.
Yeah, they're like the two
I
games
think
I've
I own
always
one of
wanted to
them
play.
digital.
Yeah, if you get a chance to play one of them, you definitely should. I'd love to find out if they're any good.
Yeah.
Everyone's always told me they are, but yeah, the Shin Megami Tensei 4, I wasn't really into Shin Megami Tensei at the time, but like now I look back, I'm actually watching footage of it right now, and I'm like, oh, I wish I'd played that. It's the same with like for even 5. I'm like, I kind of want to play 5 Vengeance on Switch, but I also know that I don't have 120 hours, and you weren't exactly glowing
I didn't
with
think
your
that.
review.
I didn't think it was that great. It's just like imagine Persona, but with all the social aspects and stuff left taken out, and you just left with the dungeons, and all the dungeons look exactly the same. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah, especially when
okay.
you've got, like I said, with Fantasy Life is an absolute hidden gem on here, and the new one coming out, and
Mm.
I've got Bravely Default 2 to play. I really want to play that, and maybe Octopath Traveler 2. Currently they're showing Professor Layton, and really great games on the 3DS. Did you play many of the
Yeah.
Layton games?
No, that's again. I missed them. I missed the Phoenix Wright. It's weird. Like the DS, I missed quite a bit, and then like the 3DS, like we're talking about it. Like, now there's stuff like that I missed, but then I like would played every Pokemon, and I played both versions. I played X and Y. I played Sun and Moon, sort of thing.
Yeah, I played Mystery Dungeon as well on 3DS, and
Mm.
there was just a lot. There was a lot of games on the 3DS.
Yeah, and then I started looking. I got a list in front of me, like Monster Hunter Stories. The first one apparently came out September 2017, so I'd have missed it because the Switch would have been out in March. Like that's getting a remaster sometime this summer on the Switch and PS4, sort of thing. But yeah, it's like titles like that, which like, oh, if the Switch wasn't out or something, or I really thought about it at the time, I should just like played it on thing, not gone. Oh, I want it on my new shiny Switch.
Yeah, it happens. It'll happen with the next set of new consoles. I'm sure something great will come out in 2026 on the Switch, and you'll just completely forget because you're too busy playing the PS5 Pro or whatever. But But yeah, right now they're showing us footage of Bravely Default, which is again one of the most underrated games on
Mm.
the 3DS.
Yeah, and I think people forget like we had like Tales of the Abyss on
We
there,
did, yeah.
like we like we said like the RPGs and like really good um for it sort of thing. Like I know you really like the new Super Mario games. Like I wasn't really keen on them, but I'm not a huge big. Again, it's weird. Like I'm not a big 2D Mario fan, and yet I'm saying I want 2D Zelda
Yeah.
now. And I really like Metroid Dread, which is a 2D Metroid, and I really want to play Samus Returns.
That game's so expensive. I remember trying to buy it when they announced Dread was coming back. And
Mm.
yeah, I think even at then it was like a £70 game. I was like, oh, when I saw it for
Yeah.
like 20 in work, I should have bought it.
Yeah.
How many
So it
times
does
have we
make
said
me
that?
think like I own Castlevania. Like, should I just play that? Because Symphony of the Night is great and it's Mercury Steam and all
Yeah,
that
it's
sort of
not
thing.
very similar. I'll be honest, it's way more linear.
No.
But it's not a long game. I think you can beat it in like 4 hours.
Nice.
Same with Batman Origins Blackgate. It's another one. It's actually a pretty fun Metroidvania. It's on there. Cave Story, the 3DS port of Cave Story is really good for that type of game. But yeah, so that's the 3DS. We could literally sit here and talk about it for hours, but we won't, because I think we just want to go and play some games, don't we now? But yeah, it will be missed. The 3DS. It's one of the last proper classic style video game consoles. I think it's fair to say. I think everything now has something else going on, whether it's like Netflix or whatever. Like it's just they don't make the sort of almost casual consoles anymore, really. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was a games console, the 3DS, and that's what it was for. We loved it for it. Same with the Vita. We loved their little fight that they had that no one really won, to be honest. But the 3DS one didn't, let's be honest, Pengi. But yeah, it's it'll be missed. But yeah, do you think you could see yourself going back to your 3DSs at some point over the next couple of years?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I could have like a run and play 3DS for like a month or something, randomly, sort of thing. Like it's one of those things I always think about doing that. Like I picked up a couple PS3 games recently. Like, yeah, I'm gonna play with a PS3.
Yeah,
I haven't played with a PS3, but like, yeah, the one day where I suddenly, a bit like you on the recent podcast where you're playing a load of original Xbox, I'm suddenly playing a load of 3DS games or PS3 games or Wii games randomly, sort of thing.
yeah. It's when modern games get too much. That's honestly
Yeah,
why.
it's just there's just so many games and stuff like that. There's just too many games.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, even if I go, oh, I'm not going to buy anything. Oh no, this week it's 4 new games added to Plus, and 3 of them I like the look of. I'm like, ah, cool.
Yeah, I think the consoles like the 3DS and even the Switch is like, if you just want to take a break from the world and downloads and updates and stuff, and you're like, I'm just going to play a silly little video game that's got no connection to the internet for about 10 hours. I think it's good for that.
Yeah.
For sure. And yeah, we'll have to get some reviews out of you at some point, Pengi. Maybe we'll bring back the book club.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was 3DS. So if you enjoyed our little look back at the 3DS, please let us know in the comments. Hit the like button and all that good YouTube jazz. But yes, let us know what your favourite 3DS games are, and we'll be back talking about another console at some point. I'm sure me and Chris will get nostalgic, because that's what we do. But thank you for watching.
Well, I won't. Yeah, that Atari Jaguar.
We'll do that 5-minute Jaguar episode, followed by a 2-minute 3D episode. But yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.